Hey guys, Fire here from InDepth Gaming, bringing you another game review. This time we're checking out CATAN Console Edition. This game is developed by Nomad Games, published by Dovetail Games, and released on the Xbox console and Xbox Series SX and has crossplay on February 23rd, 2023 for a price of $20. There is two versions of the game, so one for $25. Where you basically get some skins and stuff, but it doesn't really change any of the gameplay for the game. But yeah, I want to talk about the game. It's been out for about a week, and the reason I a week or so, 2 weeks, but the reason I kind of waited to do this review is the developers were actually informed of some issues, and I wanted to really see how they proactively worked at improving this game post-launch. And they've already done a patch update to fix some bugs and are actually being very well engaged with the community. Most of the bugs and stuff are more or less visual, but we'll talk about some things that there is. I can tell you right off the bat from my experience, they've already fixed the duplicating broken ships on the main menu and in-game. But yeah, if you've never played Catan, it is a dice rolling kind of Euros type board game. It's pretty much a gateway game for most people into board gaming, and it's one of the most well-known board games that there are in the world. There's tons of different adaptations, tons of different mechanics that they've done, and honestly, I'm very optimistic and hopeful that maybe some of those expansions come to console, like the ships expansions or different things that add new tiles or allow you to customize boards, things like that. But for the most part, we have just a basic version of Catan on the console. The game does provide you with a couple different ways to get some additional information. You can scan the QR code that just popped on your screen, and you can learn more about Catan, the actual board game, the different expansions that are available. There are a metric ton of them. I personally own Catan and have been playing it for a few years now with friends and family. I've got a couple of the expansions, but I more or less love the tried and true original Catan and playing it the way it normally is. Pretty much you build these settlements and cities, and wherever a number triggers on one of the item types, that then proceeds to give you a reward basically on what that is. I'm going to dive into a game I was already playing so you guys can see a little bit of that. As you can see, you can build roads, connect your settlements to your other settlements to expand the way the game works and mechanics play. I'm the red character here, so if you look where that little guy is who walks around, that's actually the robber. I don't like the way the robber looks. I'm hoping maybe they change him and do some customization stuff. I know they've already tweaked some bugs, but as you can see, we got the 5 different resources. You can trade things in this game. You can not trade, and it's really a discussion level game. Now, the game does feature online crossplay, which is actually really fun. So you can play with people on other consoles, so it's actually really easy to find people to play with because you have, that kind of setup going for you in the game. Now, a little bit of the premise, I'm not going to do much here, and I'll just kind of explain. So, we rolled our dice, we rolled an 11. So, if you look at all the territories around the board, anything with an 11 that's rolled, so let's say this forest here on the left side of our screen, like kind of upper left middle, that 11 will pay out a wood for every city and or settlement touching it. Settlements pay 1, cities pay 2. So red and yellow there manage to get to score a point, and you have to expand your cities and settlement and reach across the board to ultimately grow. You can trade with other players doing either 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 if you really want to get somebody to give you what you want. You can also do maritime trades, which is basically just trading with the bank. You can trade 4 for 1 as a flat rate, or if you happen to build a city or settlement next to one of these shipping ports, you then get a better discount on trade production. And then you do all those trading things to build the things you see on the side. You can build roads, settlements, a city, or get these cool cards called development cards that allow you to kind of adapt the way you play and kind of influence other things in the game. So for the sake of this first room that we're going to build, honestly our placement on this board kind of sucks, so it's kind of one of those unfortunate things, and I'll Realistically, probably just start a new game at some point. But let's just pop a road over here and we'll try to build for some late game where stone and wheat are generally the things that allow you to progress further in the game. Now, every player gets a chance to trade in between rounds, and that's pretty standard. It honestly feels like you're playing a real game. Some of the things that the game doesn't currently have, if you're doing like online multiplayer, you can't do like there's no times to turn, so if you're playing against AI or locally, it's not a hard thing to do. As well as, let's talk about local play a little bit. The game has a feature where you can scan a little QR code, go to a website, and it allows you to view your hand of cards on a mobile device or a second screen. So you can play this locally and still get that same kind of Catan feel. Although, in my opinion, it's great for occasional games, but if you're looking to really play Catan and, you know, you want that in-person vibe, there's nothing like getting this game out on the table. Who do I think this game really is for? Is for people who want to play Catan but aren't able to really play with other people, or are, you know, maybe locked by not having others to connect and bond with in this game. So it looks like we have a bunch of resources here. We managed to pay out a little bit here. Unfortunately, we don't have wheat, so we're kind of a little limited on what we want to do. So just for the sake of this, let's see if anybody wants to give us a wheat, and we'll try to buy one of those cool development cards just to show you. Looks like nobody wants to do that, so we'll try again with some wood for wheat. And it looks like we have multiple takers. Now, the little red stamp icon to the bottom right of people's names, that's your victory points. To win the game, it's the first to 10, but you can buy these development cards that sometimes give you secret points toward the end of the game. So, as you can see here, we'll buy a development card, and you can get anything from things that give you roads, knights to move prisoners, and there's other various bonus win point conditions that you can earn, such as the longest road or the largest army, which are signified by the two symbols on the left side of your board. The little blue card is how many cards are in your hand. I can't for the life of me remember at the moment what the red card means. I think that's development cards you haven't played, if I recall right. But yeah, the main premise is it's a dice rolling territory game. You just first to 10. Like I said, it's a really fun experience in person, and if you're going to play the online multiplayer version of this game, I would highly recommend trying to find some friends that maybe have bought the game, or take advantage of looking for group sites, or even joining like Catan's Discord to find people to then play crossplay with, because a big part of Catan is being able to talk to people. You know, those verbal conversations, the little nitty-gritty deals that you can make and form, like, that's really where you get very lively into this game, and where I think local play or cross-play with people you can communicate will come in big and handy. I haven't noticed much integration into being able to talk with people when you've done online play, and that could be just I'm getting into lobbies with people who don't talk, but from my experience, I haven't found anybody really. I have got to play this game locally with family, and like I said, I've played a ton of this board game, so I've got experience kind of across the board there. And you know, this game doesn't come with its issues, but I think with the first patch update that they've just delivered for the game, a lot of those issues are, you know, very minimal now, and it's more just quality of life for the game. The only real nitpick that I still have with the game is I think the dice rolling, I would love to see it maybe higher up on the board where the dice land, because if you roll dice sometimes, it can, like, they can look like they get stuck behind the woods or like in the forest tiles, if you get a chance to notice that a little bit. And additionally, that sometimes, like, if dice are tilted on their like angle, there is a way to validate those in a legitimate game by seeing if it'll stack another dice, but it appears that the game just kind of makes that decision for you, and I would love to see maybe something around that, because that's a big contentious conversation thing when you're in like in-person games of Catan or even any dice board game, where people are like, what the heck, we've got to figure this out, and some people want it to go one way, some want it to go another way, and it's just a big back and forth battle with how that works. So we're going to dip out of this game real quick, and I just want to kind of show you a couple of the other like menu stuff that the game has to offer, as well as, I'll share out my final thoughts on the game. So the game does come with some settings, so you can, go in here and customize like your audio stuff. It does a nice controller layout for you. They do offer patch notes in the game, and as you can see, they are doing a really good job at being upfront with gamers and showing them what they're working on and how they're trying to improve things. Now, the library, it's more or less just like an informational thing explaining how the game works, and it does a pretty good job, but you can also do the same by just playing through, the game. It's not a game that's hard to pick up, and if anything, you can go watch a quick video online with how to play Catan in like under 3 minutes videos. I know they exist out there. And then you've got your profile here that realistically just allows you to connect to like Dovetail services. I haven't done it. I don't know if it gives you any benefits or bonuses. My guess is maybe it'll give you like a cosmetic skin or something for dice, as there is a little bit of customization there. But overall, my experience with Catan has been a really good experience, and it's made more positive just by the fact that they are proactively updating this game and trying to stay well with the community. As far as an opinion of picking this game up or not, I think it's a fun game for $20. If you have people to play with, it's a great buy. You're probably looking at a very similar price point. Look, if you can find sales for the physical Catan. So I think it's really going to come down to your kind of environment yourself. If you don't have people locally that you can play a physical Catan game with, pick up the online version of Catan. If you don't have, people you can play online with, but you have people locally that you can play Catan with, great, go for that. If you can't manage to get Catan on sale, this is still a great way to buy the game even cheaper than the board game, I believe, because I think the board game can be around, $30 to $50 depending on like board game shops and big box retailers and online stores. So it's still a great game to play local on a couch setting, but it kind of just depends on your kind of environment, what you're doing, especially with a lot of the like cloud gaming capabilities that are coming into the Xbox and console and stuff. If this was a game that had the ability to do that, I don't believe it does at the moment, but like being able to take a Catan game on your phone on the go on a plane or something and still play with other people would be a pretty cool and awesome experience. Outside of that, that's kind of my opinions on Catan. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel or thinking about becoming a member today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.